Hey, everybody, I'm Wave Storm Tracking Team Meteorologist Ryan Hoke. No, I'm not Carson Meredith. He is off tonight, so you are stuck with me. We're talking about a range of things, but most of what we're going to discuss this evening is going to surround some snow chances for the mid and late week period here. We've got ZK Hodge, a loyal fan on YouTube, on here from this evening. This evening, we've also got Angela Early on here. And Angela and Vanderberg. It's the duo of Angelas this evening. And then, of course, we've got Kevin Anderson. Hello to you on YouTube there. So many folks getting on here this evening. Our push notifications, which you'll see at the bottom of the screen once we get to it there, once it gets onto our app. Once we get that push notification, then everybody will at least be informed that we've got the video running here live this evening. Got Robert Williams on here this evening. Good evening to you, Robert. And, of course, we've got Tracy from Salem. Hello, Tracy. Good to see you. Mary is hoping for a snow day. Watch your mouth. You might get what you ask for here at some point. We'll see. A couple of these snow chances here mid and late week could be interesting. And we've got Brenda on here this evening. Hello to you. Hello to Justin, Bobby, and Sherry. Hello to you. So many folks in here this evening from all around Wave Country and all around the world, because we get some out-of-town folks on these live streams as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'll start to put the graphics into motion, and we'll show you what we got here for you this evening. First off, you remember the snow this morning? Yeah, that was something else, right? It's still cold in the post-snow environment that we're in. A lot of that snow sublimated or even melted in some cases. So I had like a little dusting on the sides of my driveway and in my grass early this morning. That has since pretty much gone away. So you'll see the temperatures right now are in the 20s and 30s. We had some of your snow photos on Facebook, and of course, we were able to look through those, and we've got a couple of them here you might want to see. Kathy from southern Trimble County around 9:15 this morning. That is what I call an overachieving dusting. It's more of a coating of snow, maybe a few tenths of an inch of snow there. Angela says she got a dusting in Radcliffe. Yeah, we got a lot of photos and videos from Radcliffe. Hello, Hardin County this morning. Those folks got a dusting there. You see, of course, on the bottom of your screen there, the wavy alert saying that the push notification has gone out to our Wave Weather app and Wave News app users as well. So there it is. I just got it on my phone. Wavy beats the phone alerts sometimes, which is really kind of cool that it can do that here. So that's from Kathy there in southern Trimble County. And then, of course, we had Kent, Indiana, Jefferson County, Indiana. Katie Schneider there recorded a nice video for us. If you look closely, you can see those snowflakes coming down in front of that iconic southern Indiana red barn there. Oh, gosh, it was like a perfect morning to have your Christmas decorations still up, right? And she did there along her bay window, kind of a gorgeous really nice look there. We've got a few more folks coming in this evening. Oh, goodness. We've got one of our friends here on YouTube still has the flu. Boo. I've had two of these upper respiratory funks, if you can call them that, maybe just little viruses here, one of which required antibiotics a couple weeks ago, which was no bueno. It has been a tough cold, flu, and COVID season around here. I will tell you that. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, goodness. I have a grievance, says Carrie. Wave puts out so many news items on YouTube that it gets overwhelmed and doesn't put out the alerts for weather. Please get a weather-only feed. That is a good piece of feedback, Carrie. Yes, we have one YouTube channel. That's the Wave News YouTube channel, Wave-Louisville, Kentucky here. And we don't have a weather-dedicated one. However, all of the videos that go to our website automatically go to our YouTube. So that can flood our YouTube channel sometimes. And then if you're set to get those notifications, you're getting a lot of those. So next time I see our digital director here at Wave, I will ask her about that and see if we can come up with maybe a better solution for folks who don't want to see all of the notifications. I'll do some research on that. Weather Geek 502 says, hey, you're not Carson. Hello. Good to see you. And then Tanya here is from Madison, Indiana, speaking of Indiana. All right, let's get a little more into the weeds here. Snow chances. So we've got two of them, maybe three. I'm going to just pinpoint 2 here. The third one was going to be around the 24th of the month. I'm not seeing as many models trying to play with that today. May come back, probably will, but the evidence just isn't there like it was before. However, snow lovers, don't fret. We still got 2 of them here. This late Wednesday into Thursday morning deal, kind of an odd setup with a big plunge of cold air rain on the front side of it, and then a disturbance in the mid-levels of the atmosphere on the back side squeezes out a bunch of snow showers, and they may be the aggressive kind of snow showers, the way things are looking here with some instability early Thursday morning, late Wednesday night. And then we've got another snow chance Friday into Saturday. That one over the weekend at times, it's still the weekend technically, but yesterday at least on the GFS model, was looking pretty beefy. Today, not as much, more of a northern stream system, kind of an enhanced series of clippers, but we can't rule out something a little bit more interesting Friday into Saturday, the way things are looking now. Kevin is asking about alert days in the near future. Great question. That Thursday morning time frame / Wednesday night could have some alert day fodder with it. We're not quite there yet on putting the alert day on there, but tomorrow we may very well be. I want to give this one more night's worth of data here. Ashley's like, Ryan, I haven't seen you in forever. Could be because I've been lacking in watching these since I've had a baby. Yes, Ashley, congratulations again to you. Yeah, I've been on a few of these here lately with severe weather. 3 Sunday nights ago, I was on here with Carson with severe weather. So I've been around, just not on here quite as much. Busy doing other things, that's for certain here. So let's step through the forecast here. Monday morning, low temperatures, that's tomorrow morning, about 3-4 degrees cooler than this morning, so mid-20s, lower 20s in parts of Kentucky. Here comes Tuesday afternoon. Winds start to whip up into the 30-40 mile per hour range. That brings in warmer air from the southwest, and that brings our highs back into the mid-50s. Enjoy these Tuesday mid-50s while you can. Beware, the cold air is coming back. This is not going to be a permanent affair, getting us 50s for days and days on end. This is just a Tuesday-only situation, and mainly it's because we're ahead of that cold front that's going to move in Wednesday with the rain and eventually the snow on the backside of it. Again, 30-40 mile per hour gusts are possible. So, all right, let's get to snow chance numero uno, and that is going to be our next big weather maker here. That will be a Wednesday into early Thursday. So how we've pinpointed it here is, first off, we get a band of rain moving through Wednesday morning, get kind of a break between that morning round of rain and then a round of snow showers late Wednesday night. So that area of snow showers moves in late Wednesday night and sticks around through early Thursday morning and gives us a light accumulation of snow. So Ryan, how much snow are we going to get? I don't have an answer yet on that because it's our policy to put out a snow map 48 hours in advance. So let's do the math here. If that's Wednesday night, that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Whoops, that's 3 days, not 2 days in advance. So we're still a little early for that. What I can tell you is at least a few tenths of an inch are possible. In the higher elevations of southeastern Kentucky and East Tennessee, we could be talking very, very measurable snow because of the elevation and the upslope flow that creates more beefy snow totals out that way. For us, some of our counties in the very western part of Appalachia may be on the very edge of that. We're talking like Adair, Greene, Taylor. We'll keep an eye on that. Measurable snow is possible Wednesday night and Thursday morning. It won't be super measurable, but measurable nonetheless. That is my disclaimer on that. So here it is on Futurecast. We've got the rain moving in early Wednesday. This is a prefrontal area of rain. That moves through relatively quickly. We may see some of those raindrops still for the Wednesday morning commute. They're out of here by midday. Then we focus on Wednesday afternoon, and that's the cold air spilling in on the backside of this thing. And you'll see that separate disturbance, or it's really the same system, but kind of the second disturbance, the main mid-level, upper-level low to our north moves in, and that provides enough uplift for these snow showers that you see by 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Timing is still in flux a little bit on this. We don't have the exact timing. Again, there's a lot of iffy, wishy-washy sort of associated with the system because we're still like 3.5 days out. But I just want you to know that the impacts are certainly there. The alert day is possible as we go throughout Wednesday into early Thursday. Again, I think we'll probably pull the trigger on that tomorrow. That's my guess is what we'll do with that. I want to see more data first. Some of the data has been a bit drier than not on the snow shower side of this. So I want to give it another night to see if that data just goes away completely and we are still left with what you see here on the European model, which is a hefty snow shower event, maybe even a little bit of lake effect snow from Lake Michigan all the way down to Indy and maybe some of our northern counties of southern Indiana. By 6 a.m. on Thursday, most of this is gone, but we'll see a few flurries running through our area all the way through noontime. Those would not accumulate quite as much. So this is the snow cover potential late Wednesday into early Thursday, where you see those darker shades. That's a bit more measurable. That's like 2 inches plus, right? So that's not us, but the white indicates at least a dusting, maybe a coating or a little bit more of snow. Potentially a bit more widespread than what we had this morning and a bit thicker of a snow cover than this morning, just to give you some apples to apples comparisons here on how this will likely work. All right. Again, this may be a situation, a few tenths of an inch, could have some 1 inch totals around here, just to give you some idea of what we're looking for. All right. ZK says, hey, I've got doctor's appointments Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday's fine. Wednesday really is fine until the evening. Your doctor's office will be closed. So you're in good shape there, ZK. Teresa's here. Hello. Let's see. Brandon says roads in Scott County, Indiana were horrible this morning. Now, you folks had a lot of sleet with this morning system. That's interesting. Yeah, a lot of folks got snow. There was some sleet. Let's see. I mean, you're saying light snow, so nothing over an inch for Wednesday. What we're saying right now is that you could see a dusting, possibly measurable, a few tenths of an inch to an inch right now. It's still iffy. We don't have an official total on that just yet. Give us some more time. All right, we need another day. Let's see. What else do we have from folks here? Kaylee's asking, will there be ice under that snow since the rain will happen first? I don't think so. And here's the reason why. First off, very warm on Tuesday, 55 degrees. Rains Wednesday morning, still pretty warm, right? Ground is warm, air is warm, it rains, it stops, and it stops raining for a good chunk of the day. The wind will probably be up there as well. That'll mop up the roads. I don't think there will be ice underneath the snow based on that fact alone, because I believe we will be able to kind of get away with drying out the roads for the most part here during the day on Wednesday before that snow burst Wednesday night into early Thursday. Now, that does not mean we won't see snow on the roads. I think especially rural and untreated roads Thursday morning could get a little slick. Treated roads should be fine given the temperatures and the ground temperatures. That should be okay. This is not a disaster for Thursday morning. I can tell you that. I'm kind of putting my stamp on that at this point, the way things are looking at the moment. Cameron says it's Sundays with Ryan. Yes, you've gotten 2 Sundays with Ryan within the last month here. At least severe weather brought me in for the last one, and Carson was off today, so that brought me in for this one. Melissa's like, will this Thursday snow stick for any amount of time? Yeah, I think it actually could stay down for a bit. We may get up to like 40 on Friday, but that's not a whole lot of warmth there. So I think it will stick around for a bit and may compound with whatever the heck happens Friday into Saturday, all right? Especially on the grass. There's some colorful language about an inch of snow. Look, I know folks are like, oh my gosh, you guys are making a mountain out of a molehill over an inch of snow. Have you seen how people drive around here? I mean, heck, we had a ½ inch of snow in early December at one point, and it was one of my worst commutes home at 10 o'clock at night in my 13 years at Wave here in Louisville. And I've lived here all my life pretty much, so I've seen most of this stuff, within the last 30 plus years. So it doesn't take a lot of snow to get a lot of problems here. I know it's not going to like shut down society, but it certainly will make travel treacherous and hazardous for folks. I don't think this particular Thursday morning snow event would be treacherous. That's a strong word for this, but it certainly would be impactful. All right. That's why I think we're talking about maybe an alert day for this. We'll see how it goes overnight with the data here. No extreme cold weather like we saw in December. I'm seeing teens, but I'm not seeing single digits. So not as extreme the way it's looking. This pattern's a bit too progressive, and the cold air is not as strong as it could be to produce extreme cold. You don't need extreme cold for snow. And in fact, for you snow lovers, you don't want extreme cold because that can shunt the storm track all the way down to the south. So Tennessee and the Gulf Coast states get snow, and we get not a squat. So that happens. So if you really want snow, you don't want the extreme cold around here. How much do you think would shut down the city slash area? I mean, once you get 6+ here, even 4+ sometimes can be like, okay, that's a society sort of impacting event. Once you get that 10-inch plus, that's when we grind to a halt. We're not just talking impacts, but we're talking major, major, major impacts, like we saw back in January of 2025 when we had 10 inches plus and everything got wild around here. That's for certain. Double digit snow totals here. They get a little crazy on the impacts. All right. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to get some graphics together to talk about snow chance number 2 for late next week. So you sit tight. Some of you watching on our Wave weather app or on our Wave app for your smart TV will see a couple of ads. Those of you here on like Facebook or YouTube, you'll just see this "we'll be right back" thing. That will last for about 60 seconds. So give me just a second and we will see you back here in about 60 seconds time. Give me a second. Alrighty, we are back. Let's talk about snow chance number 2, shall we? So let's bring you back to kind of orient you on what we're talking about. We've just talked about the late Wednesday into early Thursday rain to snow shower potential. Again, that doesn't look huge, but it may be impactful, all right? Especially the Thursday morning commute may have some adverse weather conditions depending on how much snow we get. Snowfall rates, temperature dropping, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of moving parts there. I think we're in alert day territory. We may very well be in alert day territory late Friday and especially into the weekend, the upcoming weekend here, Saturday. I'm just going to call this a snow chance. So what I've done today is I've kept for our TV viewers just the hand-drawn version of events here because it's still kind of iffy at this point. We need to especially get through this Wednesday night situation to see how the atmosphere down the line is going to react to that and how that will impact, of course, the system downstream of it, or upstream of it, I should say, which is going to be this one right here. So jet stream is going to dip all the way down into the Louisiana area here, right? So that means cold air is going to go all the way down there. So plenty of cold air in place. The problem is that we need to figure out if disturbances riding along this jet are going to link up and create a snowstorm, or if just the northern disturbance rotating through north of the jet stream would just rotate through our area and give us more of a clipper snow. What that means is a fast-moving system from Canada that brings us lighter snows. If you're looking for a bigger snow event or a snowstorm, 4 inches plus, the definition in our area, you really want 2 pieces of energy kind of right along the jet stream there to link up or phase. They need to shake hands and then keep moving as one entity, all right? The GFS model was showing phasing at times over the weekend and put out some interesting snow totals, and especially for like Tennessee, it was going berserk. You may have seen some of those hype graphics that some of these weather pages make, these crazy long far out model images from certain Facebook pages that claim they have some weather credibility, and they just post model images left, right, and center and try to scare people and get all that engagement and this, that, and the other. We don't do that, by the way. That's why I'm showing you a hand-drawn map of this, just so that we can at least explain the setup and then show you a little bit of model data that I have curated here. I've not shown you everything, okay, just to make sure that we keep our expectations in line with reality. Anywho, those Facebook pages have been posting about this like nuts and being like, oh, deep south snow, here it comes. And now the data today is kind of coming into line more with like a Clipper type event that would be more of like Kentucky and Indiana. So that's why I've drawn my kind of rain snow battle zone kind of just south of our area, perhaps. There may be a little rain that tries to mix in, but I'll show you that here with Futurecast. So let's start you off. This is 10 p.m. on Friday, and you see that we've got just like widespread snow showers. We're kind of getting snow showered to death with an area of low pressure that's moving through the Great Lakes, kind of a Clipper system there. That would be kind of system 1 of 2, and then the second area of disturbance in the atmosphere would move through potentially Saturday into Sunday, and then finally it's out of here by late Sunday. So let me back this up just a little bit here so you can see that we just kind of get this constant barrage here with these multiple little disturbances moving through, rotating around this main area of low pressure kind of to our north here in the middle of this trough that I just showed you. So this could put down measurable snow, and quite measurable at that. We're talking maybe 1 inch plus with this. We'll see. But it wouldn't be like snowstorm. No, not like that. Just because we're not seeing on this particular model that type of event. So what's happening here, and I'm going to back this up to about 9 p.m. Friday here, is you've got a couple disturbances, right? Moving through during that time. And if it'll let me get my pen tool out. Where's my pen tool? There it is. Okay. So you basically got one disturbance moving through and another disturbance moving through. This is kind of in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. These U's are kind of just the waves of energy moving through the atmosphere, but they're not phased. You see how they're separate here. And this is just a demonstration, not the exactness of what will happen. What you really want to have happen is for both of those disturbances to link up like this. So you see kind of both of them merge together. That would develop an area of low pressure. You get a heavier snow band right over us, right? Problem is that right now, both the Euro and GFS are keeping these disturbances separate so that the low pressure, the kind of the main mid to upper level low pressure over the lakes is kind of controlling where these disturbances are going, and the jet's kind of just steering everything around too. So it's not really a phased system with a big snowstorm. No, it's just kind of the northern branch, if you will, of the jet stream doing its thing, and the southern branch kind of being down to the south, not really doing much work for us, right? Those two link up. If you get the southern jet stream or the subtropical jet and the polar jet to link up, snowstorm, right? That's again what the GFS was showing at times earlier today and yesterday. Not so much in the current 18Z run. But for you weather nerds, if you saw the 12Z GFS, certainly got some eyebrows to raise, all right? I'm not saying that is not going to happen, because the GFS has done a really great job actually at sniffing some of this out long range, and the Euro kind of catches up. But the problem with this kind of scenario is every other model run is probably going to be like, oh, phased, nope, not phased, phased, not phased. It's going to flip back and forth. So you're going to see these wild swings from like 0 inches of snow to like 2 inches of snow to like 17 inches to like 3 inches of snow. You're going to see all of that kind of play out, that back and forth drama that some folks like to keep up with here with each model run. But just know, if you kind of take the 30,000 foot view out and look at this, you'll know that it's just something that we really can't resolve almost 7 days in the future like this. All right. We got to get a little closer to this actual event. So by Wednesday, as we're starting to see that first system unfold, we'll start to see an inkling of probably what will happen Friday, Saturday, early Sunday here with that system, to see if it will indeed give us something that's a little bit more measurable on the snow side of things. So got to give this one some more time in the oven, give it more time to cook. We don't have the answers on it just yet. Kathy's like, screw all this, I'm just ready for spring, right? I get it. It's been an early winter so far, right? The early part of December was snowy. It was very cold. We definitely don't have that exact pattern back yet. It's a modified version of that. We do have snow chances, but it's not that crazy. It's not that extreme, right? Angela says, I don't mind the system's phasing. It's when they get overzealous and try to decide to throw an ice storm into the mix. Yeah, thankfully, not really seeing a whole lot of ice storm potential here. This would if there was to be an ice situation, the way things are looking, it would probably be kind of at the end of this pattern that's upcoming for mid to late week. And that could be well into the future if it even happens at all. All right. Because you need warm air to try to intrude into the already cold air at the surface in place and then start giving us the potential for an overrunning event. So we don't really see that. All right. Let's see. Weather Geek says, I'll admit, after 1994, I don't like to hear about snow around MLK Day. Yeah, I get it. I've been there, done that. I totally get it. Let's see. Nathan Metcalf says, JCPS probably going to go insane this week. Like, no, I don't want to make another NTI day. There may very well be some talk of that. I'm not a superintendent. I don't know what their decision's going to be. Heck, I don't even know the exact amount of snow that we're going to see or even the ranges exactly just yet for either of these events. But what I do know is that the potential is there for impactful snow. All right, just to give you that heads up for parents trying to make plans this week, get ready to make alternate plans, perhaps. We'll see. All right, so it gets cold with this arrangement, regardless of what happens with the snow. We're at 30 degrees Sunday afternoon, right? And that would be 20s for most of us outside the city. So regardless of how the system phases or not, snow potential or not, will be cold. If we see snow on the ground from this, it could get colder than what you see here on Sunday. It may not make it to 30. Just depends on how thick the snow cover is, how far south it goes, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of ifs, ands, and buts. And even without a super thick snow cover, because the Euro doesn't have that, it gets us down into the teens early Monday morning. And that's not tomorrow morning, by the way. That's a week from tomorrow morning you're seeing here. And you see those patches of like the light blue or white here to our east in the mountains. That's a thicker snow cover, giving those folks potentially single digit readings across the Smokies, the Blue Ridge, eastern West Virginia. You get the idea there. So there is the potential for extreme cold out there because they would see more snow due to their elevation and the lift that happens with these systems moving through, squeezing out more moisture out of the atmosphere, giving them more snow up that way. All right, let's see, 7:16. I'm going to give you 5 minutes for a little Q&A here at the end. I'm going to put up the 10-day earliest alert here, so you can see kind of the bottom line of what we're looking for. Aha, here it is. And then we'll answer some more questions here. Cameron's asking, do you think we'll skip ice storms this year? Same goes with major freezing rain events. Skip? I hope so. Don't really know yet. If we get into a situation where we are like super, super, super cold for days on end, that's when I would start looking for that potential, because any sort of event that tries to intrude into that already almost immovable extreme cold air can sometimes produce an ice event as you're trying to warm things up with a ridge trying to push in from the west. That's kind of one. And then, of course, we could also see an ice situation if there were, this is an if, there were to be one of those phased systems. Those can sometimes throw some ice into the mix. But right now, the weather data is not sure on the phased part of that, especially for Friday, Saturday. So we don't see anything super concrete on that just yet. How's the snowfield in Canada? Doesn't that usually mean colder weather for us? Yeah, it's pretty healthy up there. I think the especially after this system on Wednesday, Thursday, that can put enough snow down to our north, even if it's not a whole lot, to kind of condition the atmosphere to be like, okay, if this system's going to phase, keep that area of low pressure to the south, because a snowpack typically pushes that low pressure track at the surface farther to the south, because that low pressure track likes a baroclinic zone, which is essentially a big change in temperature in a small area of a tight temperature gradient there. And that would be pushed to our south, pushing the area of low pressure to our south. So yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Tanya says, appreciate the Wave Weather team for keeping us safe and alert and updated. So thank you. Thank you, Tanya. We appreciate you. How cold was January 19th of 2007? Did we break some records? I don't have that off the top of my head. I don't have that. No. I'm trying to remember it. I was 16, so I was keeping track of the weather, but not like I do now. But I do remember it being cold that winter. Just don't remember the actual record-breaking part of that, or if there was any records to be broken. All right, our friend David says, do you think the cold air will stick around a long time, or will it be short-lived? We had a real winter last year, and it was kind of nice. Extreme cold right now in the next 2 weeks, no. Cold enough for snow? Yeah. So like 30s and 40s? Yeah. I think that'll stick around for a bit. We may have some random days in the 50s, like Tuesday of this week. But for the most part, this will be a more winter dominant pattern than a spring dominant pattern that we've had at times for the new year. Any moderating temps beyond the 10-day? Yeah, some of the models trying to push some warmer air in here after MLK. You see that Wednesday 40-degree temperature. That's kind of a sign of what the models are trying to do. I don't think it will be as successful as some of the modeling is showing now, because I think there will be kind of a more of a blocking pattern that may take place. We'll see. That's kind of iffy because it's so long ways out. Let's see. Brian Good's probably jumping up and down right now. Yeah, he's definitely going to be busy this week with me. He and I are going to be man in the fort here, and we'll definitely be doing some moving and shaking with this forecast. Buddy Cameron says, how do you think the spring will be this year, severe-wise, warmth? Severe-wise, based on the pattern that's in place now, and the pattern that we've been experiencing, there's been a lot of back and forth, and La Nina is not going to be as intense. It may be more of like a normal severe weather season, potentially several bigger, moderate to bigger events that we'll watch for, a few smaller events. We've had a whole lot of these like high shear, low cape storm events here over the winter, which is kind of a harbinger potentially for some active weather in the spring. We will see. With the warmth, I'm less convinced it'll be like warmer than average. I think based on the pattern that we're seeing now, it may just be kind of normal. Bring on the snowstorm. We don't have one yet in the forecast, but we'll see. A lot of folks are looking for more snow. Kathy says, oh, well, it could be below zero. We don't see that right now, thankfully. Even if we do get a thick snowpack, the worst case scenario would be maybe single digits the way things are looking now on the data that did, of course, come out a little earlier this weekend with thicker snow cover for us later in the week. Oh, Amy, I appreciate that. She says, send my condolences to Kevin. Yeah, if you didn't hear, you can check out Kevin's Facebook page. But Kevin lost his dad to dementia on Friday night. So our thoughts are with him. You're going to see a lot of me and not so much of him in the upcoming week here as they get the, kind of the arrangements in order and they go through the grieving process. So my heart goes out to the Harnan family. And of course, so many of our viewers have shared that as well. So thank you to you guys who have commented on his post and my sharing of that post. I really appreciate it. He's a really good friend, and I've met his dad before. I know his family just a little bit, and they're great people. So I'm sad to see this. That's for sure. Let's see here. I'll do one more. Oh gosh, ZK says, praying spring comes in March without all of the floods and heavy rain. I hope so too. The flooding last year was insane in the membrane. It was flash flooding. It was historic river flooding. Frankfurt got historic river flooding. It was terrible. So glad that is in our rear view mirror. It's hard to get 2 years in a row of that same exact pattern, but we're keeping an eye on it here. All right, guys. On that note, let's do one more. Braden always has the good questions that deal with our operations, and I love it. Question. So how close were we to alert day criteria for the whiteout conditions earlier? Also surprised we didn't see any snow squall warnings issued. So no on the alert day for today. And the reason being is, one, it was short-lived. Two, it was at a time of day when the impact was a little bit lower. Yeah, I know folks are going to Sunday brunch and Sunday services, but you don't have school buses out. You don't have the Monday morning commute. So that was kind of a strike against it. And then just how short-lived everything was this morning. It was kind of in and out real fast. Also kind of a strike against that. And we also didn't know how widespread these snow showers would be. Some folks in the Highlands were like, we never really saw snow at all. So we didn't want to flag an alert day and people be like, it didn't snow, right? So this morning was iffy for that. Braden was surprised we didn't see any snow squall warnings issued. There's criteria, but those are kind of subjective, honestly. Whoever's on the warning desk, it's kind of up to them at NWS Louisville whether or not, they see the need for that. And it's kind of a societal impact thing, right? They're looking at traffic cameras. They're looking at road temps. They've got a lot of data to look at. They're looking at traffic and crashes and stuff like that. And if they see that, oh my gosh, there's a big impact because of a gusty snow shower, they may flag a snow squall warning. But those are rare. We've only had tiny handful, maybe one or two, since they began. I think in 2018 is when those came out. So they're really apprehensive about pulling the trigger on snow squall warnings in a widespread fashion around here. It's just not super common unless it's like a super sort of impactful situation. So today was just kind of not the right day for a snow squall warning, not the right day for an alert day. If this were a Monday morning, we probably would have had a short fuse alert day. One that, we would say, hey, it's 4:30 in the morning, sunrise is starting, and we're just going to do an alert day because the snow came in, a little bit more robust than expected with, some good coatings. But even then, I think our forecast was right on par. I think a lot of folks went into the weekend expecting like a little dusting and got like a thick coating out of it this morning. But our forecast did reflect up to an inch of snow. I didn't see any actual reports of super measurable snow or anything up to an inch. So really, we had it covered. It's just the perception of a forecast is sometimes even more important than what the forecast actually says. All right, guys, that's it. You've heard me ramble for far too long here. We are going to take it into a break here for the rest of the evening. However, after football tonight on NBC, I will be on with our latest forecast here on Wave News after football. That's what we call Wave News at 11 on Sunday night football nights, because you know how it can be with some of those late evenings. So ta-ta for now, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend tonight. Have a safe start to your Monday, and I'll see you here after football tonight on NBC. Good night.